Loads of games have been played. We're into January now. I've made a load of transfers as well. There is so much to update you in the Newcastle save. So let's get back into it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Newcastle save. Episode 3 today then. And we return after, at the end of last episode, this being the situation. We'd just beaten Brighton 3-1 in our live com. We'd seen the transfer window slam shut. We'd made our signings. But since then, I've been playing it a lot. I've been very into this save. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I'm going to try and bring you as many videos as possible. They're going to be based on the streams. It's going to go back and forth. So if you do want to go and join live, it's over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Clayts. Lots of you already done that, jumping over to Twitch for the first time. We have a lot of fun over there. There are going to be standalone videos on the channel too of the save. So don't worry if you only like YouTube. The videos will be here. But if you want to join in live, over on Twitch is the place to be. This is what we were at, or this is where we were at the end of last video. Since then, as I mentioned, I've been very busy. We are through now, having played a load of games, to the January transfer window. I'm going to show you what's happened in the league. I'm going to show you as well some January signings that I've already made before asking your advice. Who should we sign with our remaining money? As well as doing a live com in today's episode. Is that all the admin done? Should we get into it? Oh, of course, before we do get into it, I have to ask you to stop right there. Stop whatever you're doing. Look at the screen. Go to it. Press the subscribe button. Thank you very much. That's all I will say on the matter. Also, I suppose you could like the video and leave me a comment down below. But fine. Make sure you subscribe to the channel first of all. Let's jump into the save. Let's go and find out what I've been up to. So jumping into the save, here is the final game from the last episode. It was this Brighton match here where we beat them 3-1. A good performance overall. And at this stage, we'd made a pretty good start to the season after winning our first 3 and then losing 2 in a row to City and to Spurs and accepting that actually they're good teams and we were going to struggle against them. We'd started well with a really good win against Brighton. We backed it up with some really good results before a bit of a weird run. The good results were Chelsea away from home. We beat Chelsea 2-0 away from home and we were comfortable. Joe Willock with an opening goal and then Isak with the goal after that. And then West Ham at home, a 2-1 win in this one. A little bit more lucky. We scored, we scored the first goal with Shoulder up and then they equalised immediately. Have you noticed that in the FM23 beta that the kickoff goal seems to be a thing? It's very FIFA, but they seem to be, when you score, the other team equalises from the kickoff. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but let me know if it has been for you in the comments. We did though bounce back and Miguel Almiron with the win on the 80th minute. He's been so good off the bench, a real asset to this team. And I was flying at this point. I thought, do you know what? We've played, what was it, 6 games? There was 3 wins. I think it's 6 wins and 2 losses in the league at this point. Happy days. I think even we were top of the league at that stage. It hasn't lasted. As you can see, we're now 4th in the league, which is also very good. The date is the 11th of January. We've made it through a few more games. Some weird games. We drew to Wolves 2-2. We should have won this game. Adama Traore equalised in the 94th minute after we scored what I thought was going to be the winner in the 92nd minute. We beat Brentford 3-0. This was more like it. Saint-Maximin Wilson, Antonio Silva. I still love him, by the way. He's my boy. He's my guy. Look at him. Centre-back, 19 years old. What a player. He scored in that game. I think it was his first goal for the club, actually. And then we drew 3 games in a row, 0-0. I don't really know what happened. I think what happened were Manchester United are a good team. We played quite well. They're a good team. We drew 0-0. Weirdly, I think the players' heads dropped because we'd only drawn a game. They drew to Arsenal in the next game. Another really good performance, but I could see it that we weren't really creating chances. And then we drew to Bournemouth 0-0. We should have won this game. We looked lackluster. We looked like we were missing a striker. And we were missing a striker because Alexander Isak has been injured a lot. Callum Wilson's had 4 injuries this year. Isak's had loads of injuries. They're both missing a lot of games. I don't know whether it's because of the systems I'm using being quite gegenpressy, quite intense. But I'm finding we're having a lot of injuries. So bear that in mind when I tell you about the January transfers that we've made and some reinforcements that we brought to the club. A draw against Bournemouth, backed up by our worst performance of the season by far. We lost 4-1 away at Everton. Now, let me show you some of these goals because I'm not sure about the defending on this game so far. They don't seem to want to defend. They seem to just, any long balls, your defenders just seem to ignore them. Have a look at these goals going in here. It was a disaster class from us defensively. Everton deserved the win. We lost to them 4-1. And at this point, going into November, it wasn't a good October. I think we were down to 5th in the league after being top. Luckily, we managed to get a result in the next game, and this was a big game. We did really need to bounce back with a win here. We beat Fulham 3-0. Shelderup, Willock, and Botman with the goals. Botman from a set piece. Shelderup's been a bit of a bright spark, actually. A really, really solid signing. There's his profile there, look. I know I need to update his photo. He looks like an 11-year-old boy. I think he might have been an 11-year-old boy when I, from this face back, which is a few seasons old now. But very good though. We digress. Very good. In his 19 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7.1. Pretty good for a £9 million signing at 18 years old. He's going to be a bit of a world beater, isn't he? 3-0 win in that one. 3-2 against Palace. Then 3-0 against Southampton. In between those games, though, was the World Cup, of course, which was won by... It wasn't England. It's not coming home. The World Cup was won by France. They beat Spain in the final. A goal from... I actually don't know who scored this goal. Well done, France. There was a goal from... Deo Upamecano in the 88th minute. There's the France team that won the World Cup then. Chalmeni, Kante. They went with that 3 at the back. You noticing, by the way, a lot of the AI teams are using these 2 DMs in a lot of systems. Go through your league table and just look at how many teams are using 2 defensive midfielders in a system. Seems to be very popular in FM23. In between those games, though, as I mentioned, that World Cup. We came back from the World Cup and won the game 3-0 with Cody Gakpo scoring his first goal for the club. He's back from his broken leg now. Happy days. He scored a goal in this one, not been massively involved, I wouldn't say. And then right before the window opened, we beat Leicester 3-1. Callum Wilson scoring a hat-trick. When he plays, he can score goals, but he's just been injured way too much. Then the January transfer window has opened, but we've had 2 results since then. We lost to Liverpool 3-2. I mean, we were 2-0 up in this. Joe Gomez scores this goal. An absolute stunner. And then Van Dijk scores a free kick. They came back from 2-0 down. They beat us. Upsetting. And then the last game was a 3-1 win against Peterborough in the FA Cup. Comfortable. But that's not all that I need to tell you about. I need to tell you about some transfers. Now, when I mention transfers and new signings, I should tell you that we received this notification in our inbox at some point during those games, meaning we could actually go shopping during the January transfer window. And I've been shopping at in one of our streams that we did for this save. We turned it into a bit of a recruitment meeting, really. We discussed the squad in detail using the squad planner, which, by the way, is a feature that I really, really do like in FM23. We talked about where do we need to bring players in, where do we need to look for reinforcements, and we came up with a little bit of a list, most of which we've managed to bring in. Some of those targets we didn't manage to get. However, using this, I've got a bit of a plan now for where the team is going to be in the future. I might use this in a video where we start to plan for next season. Maybe at the end of this current season, we'll have a squad planner video where we look at where do I want to bring players in, who are the targets, who do you recommend from the targets, etc. Today, I am looking for a little bit of scouting help as well. Before I show you the other signings, we've got about £10 million still to spend. Have a look at the squad. Have a look at how we get on in today's live com. I want to know your recommendations with £10 million to spend. Who would you be looking to go and buy in this January window? And maybe, just maybe, your suggestion will be who I go for before the next episode. So, transfers. I've been busy as we've talked about. In January so far, we have brought in 5 players. One of those was the arranged transfer of Garang Kuol, who was always going to come in 300k. And then 4 more players that I've there got highlighted on the screen just to show you as well. Some of these were financed by some outgoings, which were not that one there, not that one. Jonjo Shelvey is basically the only outgoing. £10 million, we have let him go to West Ham. I couldn't really say no to Jonjo Shelvey going because he was on £80,000 or £70,000. Either way, quite a lot of money. I think it was 70k a week. He's 30. And I wanted to reimburse his money and reuse it on other players. And I think we've done that with these signings coming through the door. We talked about a little bit, and some of you mentioned this in some comments too, that we do need some homegrown players. I looked at trying to bring in Jacob Ramsey. We need homegrown at club players. So I did try and bring in Tim Krul as well, which would have been a weird one, but he was homegrown. That got cancelled because he had an injury the day before, so he failed his medical. So that didn't happen. Maybe in the summer we might go for that one again. But I did want to bring some young English players into the club too. So Joe Bellingham was the first player that we signed in this January window. He is currently on loan from Birmingham because he wasn't interested in a permanent transfer. However, as part of this transfer, this loan deal, we do have the optional future fee of £9.75 million, making this permanent. I think he looks quite good for a 17-year-old. He's made his debut where, in the Cup, he got himself 2 assists and a 7.8 average rating. So he looks quite good in the match engine as well. That was in that Peterborough game that I showed you. He's the first signing. What do you think? We're going to pay 950k per month, or no, total fee actually to have him. Per month would have been slightly too much. 950k to have him until the end of the season and potentially sign him on a permanent. I think that's worth it. We do need numbers in that midfield too. I mentioned the injuries. We've had so many injuries this year. So many. I don't know if it's a FM23 beta thing. I don't know if it's as a result of the system we're using. It could well be that, but we needed numbers. Joe Bellingham adds to those numbers coming in on loan from Birmingham. The next player is a player that we almost signed in the summer, didn't we? He was the deadline day signing that fell through. It is Dion Drainer Bellio, and he looks quite good. He's also made his debut. Missed a golden chance in added time against Liverpool where we lost that game. But then in the Peterborough game after that, he did score twice and looked really good. 8.2 average rating. So I think we've got ourselves a bit of a baller. 20 years old, already got massive value. He's going to be really good. He's going to be third choice at the moment behind Isak and Wilson. And then if we need to call on him, which I think we will with the injuries, he's going to be very reliable. Next signing, Ronnie Edwards, a player who I think is going to be popular in FM23. Only 19 from Peterborough, weirdly enough, and then we played them. He is going to be retrained by us to play as a deep line playmaker, which you might think is weird, but we play with a DLP that is set to defend. I actually think because of his lack of height, he's only 5'11". I don't really want to use him as a centre-back. We're going to retrain him to play as a DLP, and I think he's going to turn out to be a pretty good one of those. He's got a bit of potential on him too. He will improve. Again, English, homegrown in nation, can be an asset to the team too. For £3.7 million, I think it's just a smart bit of business, really. And then finally, another player whose transfer fell through in the summer. We've gone back for him. Manu Kone has been brought to the club for, well, it's 43 million, but it was, I think, 20 million up front during this window, meaning that we could get it done. He looks really good, doesn't he? Look at some of these attributes in here, these mentals specifically. Great dribbling. He's going to go and play, I think, as the DLP. If I show you in the tactic, let me just do this was the team that played against Peterborough. Let me redo it and show you what the tactic should look like. And it will probably look a little bit more like this, with Manu Kone as the DLP on defend, Bruno pushed forward into the 8, and then Caicedo alongside him too as the player that maybe gets forward the most out of this midfield. I think this 3 now is a 3 that I really do like as our centre midfielders. At the back also, Cher probably isn't the starter, but Botman instead of that. But something like this is the system we're using. You can see some of the stats as well for players that have played so far this season. We are going to play a live com games. We'll talk about their performances when we get to that. But those are the signings then that we've made. A couple of future ones that might happen. Jamal Lascelles might be going to Vigo, Celta Vigo, for £1 million just as an extra one too. Again, that's 55k off the wages. Add that to the money we've got to spend. 10 million to spend. I want your advice, really. Where would you go and spend this money in this January window? We almost, instead of Kone, we almost brought in Ruben Neves, but he's gone to Manchester United for 44 million. His contract was running out. We almost got him for like 16 at one point, and then the big dogs came in to take him away from us. That then is you guys up to date. The current situation with the league table is it looks like this: 19 games in, halfway through the season, 37 points on the board, just 9 points off the top of the table, which is Liverpool. We're in the top 4 with Arsenal and Man City. Manchester United just behind us. Today's live com is going to be against West Ham in 3 days' time. I'm going to go and get ourselves ready for that. Get ourselves up to that game. I'll see you. We're going to go and play a nice little live com. Okay then, so I am ready to go into this game with West Ham, but I just thought I'd use this opportunity to give you a bit of an update on how the squad's been doing, who's been playing where, what tactics we've been using. And really, we've been going with the 4-3-3. I know we talked about the 2 strikers at the start of the season, but we haven't had 2 strikers available at pretty much any point during the first half of this season. If I show you the injury history in the medical centre, look, you can see just how many injuries we've had. It seems like a lot. A lot of them are those slight 1 or 2 days, which is fair enough. But just in terms of the people who are actually missing games, we've got Isak on there 1, 2, 3 times. And that's, I mean, that's 2 moderates and 1 major injury. Not great. Callum Wilson, I think, is on this list 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. A couple of those moderate, a couple of those slight. So we just haven't had 2 strikers available for basically any time this season. We've had Gakpo out with that broken leg, but he's now recovered from. Caicedo was out with a major injury. We've got Isak and Shelvey and Lascelles on the list too. We've not had it easy with injuries. You can see the appearances here, look. Nick Pope has been a mainstay. Trippier's played most games, although we have also used Salamakers as a right back a couple of times too. Salamakers is decent on this right-hand side as well. I think I'm going to start him, although Yeah, do you know what? I think I'm going to start Salamakers on this right-hand side. I don't know why, but St. Maximan hasn't been amazing, and Almiron's way better when you bring him off the bench. So I think I'm going to start Salamakers. At the back then, Trippier right back, Target left back have been mainstays. Borna has played a lot of games, actually, coming in at left back. Botman has started most games, has had a couple of injuries, 17 games. Antonio Silva, maybe my favourite player of the season so far. Average rating is above a 7, which is great. He has been so good and only going to get better. I saw that he scored for Benfica against Juventus as well in real life. So he's my boy, Antonio Silva. In front of him, Kone is going to make his debut. This is his first appearance, obviously. Bruno is also missing, though. He's suspended. Has played 19 times, though. I just think it's interesting to see how many games players have played as well. So you can see who has been the most influential players. Lots of players have been struggling for appearances. Dan Burner's upset because I've not played him too much. Emil Kraft's been injured the whole time. Sean Longstaff, only 3 appearances. I mean, 1 appearance from Bellio so far, but he's only just joined. Into the midfield, Joe Willock been really impressed with. He's been really good. 15 appearances from him. And Caicedo recently seems to have started to turn on the style a little bit. He got a goal and assist in our last game and looked really good in that game. Salamakers is going to play right. Gakpo, not played many because of his injury, is on the left. And then Callum Wilson got a hat-trick recently, up to 8 goals now, hoping that he can continue that form. If not, we've got Bellio on the bench, haven't we, who has scored 2 in that game against Peterborough too. He's an option. Isak continues to be injured. Only 7 days away from being back, though. Be nice to have him back in the squad as well. That's the squad. I wanted to show you everything and who's been playing, because also I am looking for who should we spend that £10 million on. I've already got a bit of a target for the summer, by the way. I think we should sign Noni Madueke for this right-hand side, the PSV winger, the English PSV winger. He's going to cost a lot of money, but already I'm thinking he could be a great signing. What do you reckon to that one? Let's get ourselves into this game with West Ham. Here are the 2 teams then. Mark Warburton is the West Ham manager, meaning they've got rid of Moisey already. That's an interesting development. They are pretty much the same team, though, that West Ham team. We have just sold them John Joe Shelby, actually. Have they started him? No, but he's on their bench. We might see him. West Ham struggling, just 2 wins in their last 5. Let's have a look at our team, because it's quite nice to see it in this little setup here. There you go. Joe Willock is starting, maybe the one surprise in that midfield, but he's been really good for us so far this year. I'm going to say we're underway. We've started. It's another one of these two defensive midfielder systems. A lot of teams are using 4-2-3-1, but with 2 DMs, which I think is quite new for this year. I wonder why that tweak has been made for the 4-2-3-1. Oh my word, that's terrible defending. What a miss. Skamaka's missed one. Botman, not great for that one there. You can see what I mean about some of the defending from the AI. A little bit worrying. Hopefully it does get fixed for the full release, because sometimes like balls over the top are just being missed by defenders, or they're not even going for it. Caicedo smashes it over. Anyway, let's not get caught up on those indiscretions with the match engine. Instead, let's enjoy this. It's been a pretty low-key start to the game. 1 shot apiece, 20 minutes in. Hoping we can maybe... Do you know what? They need some encouragement. I'm hoping we can create some chances, some highlights. That's an aimless ball. Antonio Silva's going to pick it up. Let's see if we can go forward from here. Trippier into Kone. Debut today, Manu Kone. I like that midfield. Kone and Caicedo. When Bruno's back in there, I really like that as a midfield 3. Here is Caicedo. Here's Gakpo. Wilson. Out wide again to Gakpo. Gets to the byline. Wilson's in there. Instead, Salamakers in there. Back post scores. He's finished it nicely. He's been good, you know what? Alexis Salamakers. He's been a good, cheap signing. And he's originally brought in to play right back. He's got himself a goal there. We're 1-0 up. Lovely finish. Lovely little through ball that. Cody Gakpo with the assist. Just stops on it here, look. And tees it up to that back post. The finish is a good one. Squeezing it in near post. We've got ourselves the lead. Nice. Here is West Ham then on the ball. Jared Bowen, do you know he's from Hereford? On the ball on the left-hand side. I had to get that in there. I'm so sorry. Here's Skamaka. West Ham, mate. I mean, it's been a very even game, hasn't it? They look dangerous here. Bowen down the left. Crosses. Skamaka's there. It's 1-1. I did think that was going to happen. A great cross from Jared Bowen. I really like some of the new header animations that seem to be in the engine. This is good football from West Ham. Jared Bowen just turns around and runs past Kieran Trippier, it is. And then there's that big header. Nods it back where it came from, into the corner. Our lead didn't last very long. 2 minutes. Another one where you score and then immediately concede. That's happened a lot. Is that going to become a thing? I'm not sure. Here's Joe Willock. Maybe go up the other. He's at the bar. Great effort. We went close. We almost did like the doubler where they score, we score, they score. The other way around though. 31 minutes on the clock. It's 1-1. Ooh, one more highlight potentially before halftime. Declan Rice has smashed it away. Declan Rice was heavily linked with PSG actually in the January window. He obviously hasn't gone there. Gakpo goes close with the header. I was thinking about Declan Rice. He'd be really good to bring into this Newcastle side, but I think he's just going to cost too much money. Of course, being homegrown would be really, really useful, but I think they were looking at 74 million for him. We don't have 74 million, do we? That's half-time, though. Let's get ourselves ready for the second half. Okay, here we go then. Second half is underway. No changes for that half-time break, but it would be nice if we could start to create a little bit more. It's very, very even. I think maybe West Ham have had the better of it in terms of actual highlights that we've seen in the engine, but I've got hope, though. We've been a good second-half team for a lot of this season. We've got the ball now then at 10 minutes or so into this second half. Salamakers. We've got some decent subs as well if we need to make them. Kone into Caicedo. Can he pick a pass? Instead goes to Botman. Get that ball forward, Sven. There's a run there from the left-back Target. Gakpo now, though. Space out wide for Target. Can Gakpo get in behind? He should. He tries to. Have we got a striker in there to give it to? Caicedo instead. That's a terrible finish. It's beautiful football, but it's a terrible finish from Caicedo. It might be time to start making some changes, isn't it? An hour mark, or the hour mark is there. I'm thinking where we can influence this. Maybe if we use the wings. Gakpo's played well, which makes me want to keep him on a little bit, but I think I'm going to swap him because Schaldrup has making an impact from the bench for me a lot. I'm going to do these two to start. Saint-Maximin and Schaldrup first of all. I do wonder whether Bellio up front might make a difference as well. He looks like a goal scorer. Callum Wilson hasn't been great. I'm going to encourage them again with 20 to go. Do you know what? Callum Wilson's just dropped down to that 6.4. I'm going to go for it. We're going to go with the youngster up front. Bellio is on. Can he get us a winner here? He almost scored off the bench against Liverpool. Trippier free kick. This will be a nice time to score a free kick. Kieran Trippier. It's a good save that from Areola. Van Dijk's got a worldie of a free kick against us, but Kieran Trippier can't score them. We've got a corner though. We do have a threat from corners too. Botman was one of them. Fornals. Willock picks it up. Trippier, we can recycle this. Can he get the ball into the box? No, he's tackled by Skamaka. Instead, West Ham can break here. Jared Bowen. I'm hoping Silva's going to make the tackle on him. He does. He came across nicely there. Do you know what they need? I can't even encourage them there. There's only 13 minutes to go here. 10 minutes to go here. Is there going to be a winner in this game? I said we're a good second half team. I think we've looked more comfortable second half. Not really that many chances, though. Here, we've got a new attack as well on the pitch now. That's a poor ball from Saint-Maximin. Gives it away. Maybe gets West Ham on the attack too. Jared Bowen. Ball over the top. Skamaka. That's a good ball. Look at the space for Ben Rama. Hopefully. Oh, my word. We've let him come inside. He's put it wide. Good run from him. The space we've allowed him there was a scary amount. A scary amount of space. I'm going to do another sub. We're going to move Caicedo into the Mezzala. And I'm going to bring on Joel Linton, I think, into this midfield. Is there anything else we can really do? We've got one more sub. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm going to do Borna Sosa just because he does have good crossing. He might be able to just find a cross for Bellio at some point. There's 5 minutes to play. I could change the system, but it's risk versus reward here. We're not playing terribly. I think there's a chance we win this. Of course, there's a chance we don't as well. Sosa, you needed to win that header. He does. Creswell through to Bowen. I think he's onside. I can't see the linesman, but there's a VAR check. We might be losing this game. I'm not sure we deserve it. Disallowed. Okay. Whew. Jared Bowen's goal is disallowed. 4 minutes to play. Can we find ourselves a winner instead? We're seeing a replay of it. Oh, my word. It was close. Yeah, but he was just offside. 2 minutes to play. Is there going to be a winner? Is there going to be a last highlight? There is going to be another highlight. 90 plus 1. Flicked on. That's calm by Silva. I really like him. Can you tell? Really calm defending. Pope gives it to Botman. Don't do anything silly, lads. Just work the ball forward. That's a good ball. Caicedo in space. He looks offside there, Bellio. He's put it in. And he is offside. There is a towel, by the way. Do you want me to spoil it? For the linesman. For the VAR, sorry. You can tell whether he's going to give it or not if you can see the linesman. I won't spoil it for now, but let me know in the comments if you do. He looked offside. He was well offside. The finish is good, though, from Bellio. Doesn't know the offside law, it would appear. Oh, there's another highlight. I thought Shalvy's on, by the way. Oh, we've won it. Oh, my word. We won it back. Schaldrup gave it away, though. It's scrappy in there. Both teams want a winner here. We've won it back pretty high up the pitch. Saint-Maximin just drive at the defence. Get the ball into the box for Bellio. There's Bellio. The youngster has won it. This time he's onside. And we get ourselves the winner in added time with a minute to spare. Don't do anything silly now. I said we won it high up the pitch. It was Silva that won it back. So Maximan just drives into the space. And there's Bellio in the middle. And this time, no mistake. Good finish. Does he just... Do we need to start him? We might need to start him. Bellio scores. There's the final whistle. Okay. We do win the points on the day. Bellio with 2 bites of the cherry. Look, 1 offside, 1 onside. Not sure we necessarily deserved it. It was not a great game in terms. There was not many chances created, was there? But we will absolutely take a last-ditch winner there. It means that at the end of this episode, we are still in the Champions League places. We are 6 points clear of 5th as well, Manchester United. Can we sneak a Champions League qualification this season? That has to be the aim. Next season, are we going to hear that sweet, sweet Champions League music? I hope so. I'll catch you next time where there's going to be an update on this. There's going to be extra games played and we'll find out how we're getting on. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have enjoyed it, please do like the video down below. Leave me some comments too. Who do you think I should go and sign with that £10 million? I'll read the comments and make a decision from there. But also, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're here for the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.